non-native speakers might need in content courses, and the two content courses we looked at were business and math. And I guess I need to push the button. Yay! Oh, and Lori is so good at PowerPoint that she did all these flyaways. So we're gonna fly in.
I knew it.
I don't know about fly. I think that's the right terminology.
Fly in.
Okay, fly in. So here we used the template that Gabe sent us, and we wanted to look at what support is needed. And in fact, I just want to say the cross-discipline aspect of the FIG is, I think, the most valuable part, because I love seeing what other teachers are doing in math and in business. I don't care what happens to the poor students. I do, but existing research. Well, in the 90s, it seems like this has gone out of fashion, but in the 90s, there was a lot of work done on cross-discipline work. Part of it maybe was the era of content-based ESL, where we looked at how do we create materials where ESL students don't just read about marriage, but they read about business or science, math. We had English for business, English for science. Now, okay, so what's our process? Oh, so we had 2 focus groups. We invited ESL students who were taking Introduction to Business to one focus group, and we videotaped them, filmed them, and one for math. We didn't get a lot of students. I think we had 4 or 5 in each group, so it was a small focus group. So this is not representative of all students. These students were from these countries. So we asked students, well, what's difficult for you about your math class, about your business course? And I think, so this is just summarizing them, but the 4 students, I think it was in the business course, had never done an oral presentation any time in their life. Not in elementary school, not middle school, not high school. And that the teacher teaches and you take notes, or you write what's on the board. The idea that the student comes up is unknown. So that they found those daunting. And none of them, these were the students from Iran, and had never had to write an essay in their native language.
Not all of them, some of them said that, yeah.
These were those 4 students who had not written any essays in their native language. So just everything about writing an essay was new. This was especially true in math, that students choose math because they already know the subject matter, and they think this is a way to learn English, in many cases. So that, but in fact, vocabulary, they claim, they report vocabulary as their biggest challenge. So when I ask for examples, and this, we're gonna see some examples. So now this group was a group that had especially strong auditory skills, so they found understanding what happens in the classroom easy, but reading the textbook difficult. So I feel like we're back to the reading thing. And they don't like reading. This was another one. Handwriting was not just math, but that was one problem. Another problem, they never heard of partial credit. They love it. They love this idea. They said in our country, it's right, it's wrong, not partial credit. They loved it. They liked partial credit. Now, the issue of pronunciation. I think it's really hard for teachers to admit when they don't understand the student's question, and I think it's equally difficult for the student to say that, no, you've just misinterpreted my question. So there's a lot of miscommunication that goes on around pronunciation, and they're aware of that. They would like it's hard, I think, for us, but they would like teachers to make it obvious that they don't understand, rather than pretend that there's been some communication. Okay, well, we have 2 movies if anyone ever wants to see them, but we decided not to show clips today, but this was my favorite quote. I think in statistics, at first I needed to read a lot of those word problems, so that's kind of the part that I'm scared of. They might be like using the real life words that I don't understand, like maybe a medical thing. And I'm just like, what are they talking about? Yeah, and the batting average, so there's a cultural piece to this is especially true for statistics. I don't think we have any statistics, what do you teach us? But, yeah, they understand the math and then they have to do these problems, and it's not just the vocabulary, it's batting averages, and one of them said card games. Sometimes they'll talk about a card game, they've never heard of the card game, and they have to, I guess the statistics book must say if you have a royal flush and the
Yeah,
other.
actually, I learned those things in my statistics, the parts and the whatever.
Well, and then you gave me a really good example the other day. Even native speakers, they had to figure out the area of a gable on a house, and what's a gable? I mean,
Wow.
so that was
I don't know, but it
so
doesn't matter.
statistics can have a difficult vocabulary load. I feel like we missed one of these.
There was
Oh,
something
the business.
that-
Oh, oh, this was the other one I loved. In business, you need a lot of vocabulary to understand. For example, fringe benefits. It doesn't make sense in daily living. And I think by daily living, he meant daily life, that he
In
never
their
heard the word
conversation.
fringe benefit, and he couldn't, that wasn't a word that was easy to get his mind around. And it could be, we didn't explore it, but it could be that they don't have fringe benefits in this country. I don't know. So I don't know which piece was cultural and which piece was purely vocabulary. Okay, so these, let's see, do you want to talk about any of these? Because I'm not sure, these were kind of a little off the wall, but these were.
Yeah, I mean, we thought we would, a next step could maybe be to create a handout for ESL students in content classes, just giving tips for how to succeed, and same thing for instructors in content classes who may have ESL students. And then we did a FIT last semester, which is what we're now calling an APPLE. We created a kind of master website of resources for ESL students. And we thought maybe we could add some of this information to that website. We could add a new section of tips. And then we were talking about, you know, when you walk up into the UC campus and all those big banners, pictures of students and where they're from and quotes from them, we thought it might be nice to have something like that around BCC, which would highlight BCC's diversity and also students from other countries who attend here.
And I thought, the useful thing for me as an ESL teacher is to really be aware of, it seems so obvious, but I don't think about it all the time, what are our students' ultimate career goals? So that, you know, maybe we should go back to, you know, reading a little more about business if that's where they're going, and think about an assignment where they talk about the statistical information from their country. I don't know. There might be some assignments and some readings we can do that target the interest levels of our students a little more than what. In fact, one student even said, a lot of the books talk about love and marriage, and we're not going to be majoring in love and marriage. And so they're going to study.
And they were saying, yeah, the ESL classes are kind of just like general daily conversation, and they felt like they weren't getting what they needed to succeed in their major necessarily.
Yeah. So,
You want to talk about the math? You're a math teacher representative.
I don't think I was the best candidate to be part of this particular FIC, because I'm a non-native myself, so I'm very aware of that. You know, speaking, I will make a student repeat if I don't understand. I'll encourage them because I'm aware of it, because I have that problem. I mean, I sound fluent, but sometimes people don't understand, even my students sometimes. I get carried away talking about math. So, but obviously the terminology, repeating the terminology is important. I've noticed sometimes students will know, non-native, will know how to do, they won't worry about the words, they'll know how to do the math, because that's, you know, actually a lot of my non-natives are very good at math, because you don't have to understand. But sometimes they will mistake in the question. That was not, okay, I know you know how to solve the equation, but that's not the question. So there, you know, so make sure that they won't, make sure that they understand the terminology and repeating it, like you said. You're the one who said repeating things. Anyway, repeating all the time. That's how they learn.
I think also
No, you said it.
it's really important for everyone, and I guess I've worked a lot of English teachers, but everybody who is not an English teacher to think about, to make sure that students get attention when they don't ask questions, because they're not gonna ask questions. They're gonna come after class and ask questions, and they're gonna be the silent ones that didn't
Yeah, and
say
also,
anything.
yeah, and
That's pretty
also
obvious.
for participation, to this day, for me, it's difficult to participate when it's not your native, because participation is a very spontaneous, automatic, idioms kind of thing. So what you say when you just want to say something quick like this. So they will probably, so encouraging them to participate, maybe take more time, pausing, that I learned that from, pausing after asking you a question so they can have opportunity to rephrase and not being afraid of asking them if they understand that word and make them repeat. I don't mind if so that's what we found, that was
Well,
really
and
helpful.
I'm sure everybody knows that when you do group work, you get the questions that you wouldn't get when you're when you're walking around, you get all those questions. So I asked the students about group work in their math classes, and one student said, "Math is no group work." That's the grammar she used. I don't know how true that was, but it seemed to her that in the math classes, they never worked in small groups in their experience, which was kind of surprising to me.
It's harder to have groups, but sometimes we do, but it's true that.
So that means that the math teachers are not getting feedback from the students that they understand.
Yeah, but there's no math teacher, but we're gonna follow through that with math teachers. Not a gag, by the way.
That's Sharon Garrett.